Hello, Mia.
Hello, what is up?
How are you doing today?
I'm so good. It's been a brilliant winning weekend for Wrexham. You can
Yes,
tell it's been a winning weekend because I've lost my voice from celebrating not only Stephen Fletcher's equaliser, Jordan Davis's third, and then the 13 goals that the women's team have just scored too. So I'm
just
I'm a bit tired, but
just the 13 goals.
yeah.
Nothing spectacular, just 13. And before we jump into more about you, like about the game that we just watched, how amazing was that?
I know. I mean, Pathelli, it's quite a trek away from Wrexham, so that in itself, I know I've played them a few times when I was with the club, and it was always one of those away games that no one really looked forward to in the nicest
Mm,
way.
mm.
Like you get to go to the beach, but it's one of those a bit of a trek. Most of the times we play them, like luckily today it's been really sunny and quite a nice day, but there's been times where you go to that pitch and it's not it's not a great. You could probably tell by the surface today that how bobbly it was. Just imagine that in the winter months. So yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be as one-sided, shall we say, as it was in the end. But I thought the girls were brilliant, and really really interesting game to watch.
You played them before. Is that a team that gave Wrexham trouble in the past?
Yeah, so I think I've played them. I'm not sure how many times in total, but at least two times at their pitch. And I actually made my debut against them for the women's first team, which is it's a bit of a fun story that actually I wasn't I was training with the 19s, under 19s, and then it was my 18th birthday the weekend of that game, and I had a 18th birthday planned, obviously, because I wasn't due to be playing or anything. Hadn't even trained with the first team before, and then basically got a message off Steve saying, "Oh, are you available this Sunday? We've had a few injuries, had a few dropouts, some can't make it. Fairly away. We'd love to have you involved," sort of thing. Now, obviously, at this point, I think that was on the Thursday or the Friday. So, I had about, I think, 15, 20 of my mates due to come to my house on the Saturday night for my birthday party. So it was a bit too late to cancel. So I ended up having the party, not getting too much sleep, and then
Oh, geez.
Sunday morning having to get up at whatever time it was, probably about, I don't know what time we left the house, probably just before 9. And my dad drove me down to Pathelli whilst I slept in the back of the car,
Yes.
regretting my night decisions. But then got there, and my voice was probably worse than it is now, which is saying something. So I don't think it was the best impression that I made that day. But I came off the bench. It was a cup game, I think. I came off the bench and got an assist, but we did lose, and it was awful, to be honest. It was cold. It was windy. The pitch, if you stood on one side, you couldn't see the other side because it goes down the hill. But it was great first experience, I think. So I'll always remember, yeah, Pathelli as a nice as yeah, I was going to say it as a nice place, as a memorable place to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the season after, again, I think I was on the bench and I came on. I think we were drawing, and then got an assist again. I think it was to Rosie as well. I think
Oh, damn.
pretty similar situations,
Yeah.
really, quite strange. Yeah, came off the bench and we were drawing, and obviously we needed to win. It was in the league to keep up with Connors Key at the time, and yeah, came off the bench and put a decent ball in, to be fair, for Rosie to tap home as she likes to do. So again, another pretty memorable one in Pathelli, that one for better reasons. So yeah.
I have a semi-profound question, or it might not be, but who is Mia Roberts?
Oof. I'd say it's more than semi-profound. I think it's profound. I could go in short and in long, I suppose, but to describe myself, which is something I don't often do because not many people ask, but I'd say I'm just I've only just turned 20, so I don't like to think of myself as too fully. I don't know what the term would be, but sort of fully grown, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right phrase of words, but yeah, I'm not too sure. In so far through life, I've liked to think of myself as someone who's, immensely family orientated. I think that's always been for me number one in everything. Everything I do and try to do and want to do, it's always, family first. And I think that's why I am the person I am, my family. That's who I base myself off and who I work off. But then more as a person, I don't know really. Obviously I love my sport. I'm just obsessed with football in every single way, shape and form. If it's on, I don't care if it's, Liverpool playing United or Cardiff playing Sheffield United, or I can't even think of any examples. Or I'd even watch Chester if they were on. I know that's a terrible statement, but I would, because I'm just totally obsessed with it. And yeah, but even loving sport, I wouldn't say I'm the most competitive person in the world. I like to win, of course I do, but then I just love. It sounds so cliche, but I just love sort of taking part in things and learning new things and having I've been so lucky, in my life of 20 years or whatever, to have so many ridiculous just out of body experiences, which I never take for granted at all. I'm constantly trying to thank people for helping me in different ways and so on. But yeah, I'd say I am. Yeah, I don't really know who I am yet, I guess. I know bits about myself, of course. I like to think I'm quite humorous at times. I'm quite partial to a laugh and whatever. And I've got a lovely circle of friends. I've obviously got a lovely family behind me, and they all keep me grounded and everything. So yeah, I'm vibing at the moment. I'm just living life, I guess.
What was that like when you all found out that Rob and Ryan were taking over Wrexham?
Well, I was at TNS at the time, and there was a women's setup, but I think it was still in that stage, like I said before, about not being in a league, not really, like I'm not too sure. So again, don't sort of quote me on it, but it was nowhere near where it is now, obviously. But yeah, I was training the night it got announced about Rob and Ryan with TNS, and my dad picked me up, and I remember I got in the car, and he basically said, "You're not going to believe who's just bought Wrexham Football Club." And I sort of went, "Oh, go on," expecting it to be a local business owner, or I don't know, just someone mutual that you knew maybe or something. And then he obviously said Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. I generally don't think I believed him. I think I thought he was pulling my leg or whatever, because that is something he would do as well. Like that is.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure he had done that to me not long ago before. Like, I'm genuinely serious. I don't think he said Ryan Reynolds. I think he said some other random celebrity. But it was one of those things. I thought, oh yeah, whatever. And then only for them to put BBC Radio Wales or whatever or something on, and it was one of the first, obviously, headlines as it should be. And it was just like, oh my god. But then even at that point, I don't think my brain went, oh, they're going to help with the women's team or anything. For me, it was just that sudden relief of, we've got some money in our pocket sort of thing. We might be able to actually have a shot at getting out of the National League. But yeah, I remember that quite clearly, finding out about them too. And yeah, I imagine telling myself in that car what was to come. I don't think I would have believed you either, to be fair. So yeah, it's been a bit of a wild one since that moment.
When how did you get back onto Wrexham from TNS?
Basically, I was playing at TNS, and I was really enjoying it. Again, I had like a really nice group of girls around me. I've always been lucky in that sense. Wherever I've played, I've always had a great group of people, around me and stuff. And basically, we were playing in the West Midlands League, so we were playing against teams like Birmingham or from that area, and it was quite a lot of travel and stuff. So I was sort of starting to think, maybe I'm going to have to make a decision. The only problem was that was the closest women's team, other than Wrexham, who weren't playing games. So for me, it was like, oh, it's this or I don't play, at least at the level I wanted to be playing at. So basically, it was in the back of my head already that I was thinking, I might pack this on I might stop this soon, sort of thing. And then we had a game. I think it might have been a friendly or something, and I think we were losing like 4-1 or something. And then our team had a throw in, and one of the girls, we just signed a new girl, a winger, and she was a bit feisty, and she threw the ball at their player, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's just properly kicked off, like fighting, scrapping. Parents came down. Parents were fighting parents. Parents were fighting other players. I was just stood there like, because I'm not. I will not get involved in anything like that. I was just stood there in complete disbelief, jaw on the floor. But I think I was on the bench actually, because I think I came off injured. So I think I was already clutching a hamstring or something. So I was like, I'm not even going to begin. Not that I would anyway, even if I was fully fit. But yeah, it was the most unbelievable thing. The police got called. I just remember my dad was there at the end, and I just said to him, "Yeah, I think that's sort of a sign that it's my time to go." So that was my last sort of appearance for TNS. And then yeah, it literally was like a few weeks or maybe a month later or so when Wrexham announced the 19 setup. But yeah, it was quite a last memory of that place. But yeah. I think the year after for the 19s, we played TNS at home, and I actually scored against them, which is not something I do often. I don't score goals, and yeah, I had a bit of grief off some of the former staff from my ex-coach, who I have already bigged him up, but he did give me a bit of grief that day. So when I scored, I made it known how I felt towards him. But it was all fine afterwards. Obviously, we were all just a bit of banter and stuff. But yeah, that's sort of how I moved from there to Wrexham, really. So yeah.
So you come on to Wrexham's team. You'd said before that your first game you hadn't expected to play. It was right the day after your 18th birthday?
The day after my 18th party. I think I was 18
party. Okay.
in the week. And then I obviously planned for the weekend to celebrate and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. And so how much time were you on the team before that day happened?
Well, my birthday's September 9th, so we probably will have been training.
I'm September 10th. So
oh really?
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, I made my debut pretty much a few days after your birthday then. Yeah, we would have been probably training since July maybe, but like I say, I'd never trained with the first team. I'd only been training with the 19s. I'd literally not. Some of the girls in the first team, I didn't know their names. They didn't know me, that's for sure. Because I literally had no interaction because I was quite into the 19 sessions and sort of focusing on that task in hand, not getting too ahead of myself or anything. And to be fair, it was quite a shock when Steve messaged me and said, "Oh, are you available?" Because I had, to that point, there was no like conversation or anything in the week at training or anything. And yeah, it was a complete and total surprise. And there was a thing in me that said, "Oh, maybe don't go, maybe leave it, say you've got a party." But I didn't. I was like, no, I really want to play, and what if I don't get this opportunity again, sort of thing, because it was that thing of I didn't know, and I also didn't want to look like I'm not bothered or whatever. I wanted to show I was eager. So yeah, I said yes, and yeah, I think I came on for the last 15 or 10 because I knew I wasn't going to be starting. I knew that going there, but then got told basically, obviously we'll see how the game goes. I'm not sure if you're going to get any minutes, which I was fine with. I was just really happy to be involved because it's it's all an experience, right? And then yeah, got brought on, and we were losing. It was a horrible day, I think, if I remember right. It was raining and the pitch wasn't exactly holding up very well, but yeah, on an individual note, I think I played actually okay. And then, yeah, going on from that, I think just started to sort of get involved a bit more with the first team, and still was primarily a 19s player. But, just every now and then when I got that call up to be involved, just tried to make, a bit of a statement every time and try and impress as much as possible. And yeah, sort of I think that's what I did quite well, to be fair. So yeah.
So if we fast forward from the season where you started off, and then we get to the point where you guys are fighting championship against Connors Key, and we make it to the day of the race course. And so when did you guys hear that you were going to be playing that game at the race course? Is there a good date of anticipation, or is it last moment? Like how did that happen?
We had known for a while, because there was sort of like rumblings of it for quite a while, because I'm pretty sure we were meant to play on it either the season before or early that season, and it got cancelled. I can't remember why. I think it might have clashed with the men's game scheduling, or it might have been the grass actually when it got relayed. I don't think they wanted to risk having 2 games in a weekend. Or it was something like that. So we had been promised it for quite a while. Because when it got cancelled, obviously we were all devastated. But they said, no, we will do it. Just give us time. We will do it. So it was sort of that thing of, oh, are they? Will they? It's one of those, especially I think for a lot of the girls playing football, you don't sort of hold out hope for certain things like that. You sort of just expect to get passed by, and but we didn't. They kept their promises, and I think again that's why we were so thankful, because normally the women's team is just a side thought, and you're not really given priority with anything. But we absolutely were, and that it was unbelievable. But no, we found out I think officially maybe a month before the game, so had quite a bit of time to sort of be aware of it and process it. And then it was more just as soon as it got announced, just thinking, how many tickets are we going to sell? Because we have no sort of previous thing to go off of playing in a stadium of that size, of how many people actually want to come, how many people will come. So that was unbelievable again. But obviously in that space of when it got announced to when we played it, we still had games to play and games to win as well. So it was sort of keep an eye on ticket sales, how they're doing every now and again. I think the club would put a statement out saying 1,000, 2,000, and it was sort of going up every other week. And
how did that feel?
Yeah, which was unbelievable. And meanwhile, we were obviously winning, and yeah, it was ridiculous. You'd literally go on Twitter, and I think when it hit 5,000, I couldn't believe it. I was like, right, that's it now. It won't go higher than that. There's no way. I'm not having it. That's just not real. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And it did just continue to rise. And it was utterly bonkers, to be honest. I still can't believe, I can't believe half the things that happened. But that was in itself just a whole other. I don't know to this day how it happened, and yeah, I don't think I really started getting nervous about it until we beat Rill the weekend, or no, 2 weekends before, I think it was, when we played them and won the league. Because then it was sort of, right, we've won the league, so there's not a lot of pressure on the game, but obviously we still want to win. But we're also playing in front of 9,000 plus people. Now that's the sort of big thing, there's a lot of pressure, but in the end, I think we all just said, you know what, who knows, we're going to get this opportunity again. Let's just go out, enjoy every single second. And that's what we did. And luckily got a great win alongside that.
Yeah. When you found out that it was a sold out crowd, did that hit you, or the meaning of what that was?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think, it's one thing to see that number on a screen and go, wow, that's a lot of people. We're averaging about 100, 200 people a game every other week. And then to suddenly see that and go, but I think when you see that, you also go, right, that's tickets sold, but how many bums are there actually going to be in seats,
Okay.
Because they can buy a ticket, they're not necessarily going to show up because tickets are only £1. So it's one of those things. If you don't go, you're not losing out on a big, financial loss or anything, are you? So I think that was also in the back of my mind, thinking, no, people might have just bought to say they have and to try and help the club or whatever.
So you're still trying to ground yourself and imposter syndrome. You're like, well, definitely. People could buy that, but Like, how many people are actually interested in showing up?
Well, I think you do, and I think genuinely until we walked out, and or even sat in the change room, and you can sort of hear that buzz, and you're suddenly like, oh, everyone has turned up, right?
Wait,
Okay,
okay,
we're
so
gonna
you
you
didn't
have to
see
do
it.
this.
You didn't see it quite yet, but you can hear the people when you're in the
Yeah,
changing
you could
room.
just, and you could, it was as if you could feel that atmosphere, which it was just unbelievable, especially when I've been going to games to the racecourse for however long, and you suddenly go into a game there and you're going through the players' entrance, you're not going into Mold Road. That in itself was really bizarre. Like I found that really strange. But
Did you
but
live it
yeah,
up? Were you like in the moment? Were you like, yes, yes?
yeah, the morning of, I just remember, well, the night before, I just remember it was like, Christmas Eve when you can't sleep because you're so excited. But then I was like, I've got a game, I need to sleep,
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
don't sleep, I'm gonna have an absolute howler. But no, I just remember waking up and being like, right, today's the day, that we've been counting down for however long. And yeah, I got my breakfast in me and then was just desperate to go. I was just watching the clock, waiting. I think I was like the third person there. I got there super early.
Yeah, you were excited. Yeah, for sure.
So excited. So yeah, I got there super early and just wanted to absorb every part of it, just everything, just to walk into the ground, the walk onto the pitch before, just to check out the surface and stuff, the warm up, the pre-match talk. I just wanted to like just experience everything and just try and cherish every single moment, and not let it just pass me by, because I think in times like that it definitely can. I've had that before with like experiences where I've gone to do something I've been so excited for and not taken it in, and obviously not felt like I've enjoyed it as much. And with that day, I definitely did. I made a good decision and yeah, absorbed absolutely everything about it and had one of the best days of my life easily.
Wow. When you were headed to the race course, you drove yourself there?
Yeah, I
Okay.
drove myself. The usual routine was my dad would take me to games or my mum, because I always had a bit of a thing about driving myself to games. I'm not sure why. It was always a bit of a superstitious thing.
Mm.
Just I like to. It makes me sound a bit like as a bit like I've got a bit of an ego, but I like to just sit in the car and chill and not have to worry about
Yeah.
crashing
You
or
like to be
whatever.
chauffeured.
Um,
They have
yeah,
champagne,
that's what I was going to say, and I
grapes
was
in
like,
the back. Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
sounds
yeah.
terrible. That sounds terrible. But yeah, that was the usual thing. But for some reason that day I was like, no, I'm going to drive myself. I'm going to put my music on the way. I was at my dad's, so it's literally like a 5 minute drive. So I think I listened
Wait,
to
what were
one
you
song.
listening to? What was the
Oh, it
music
was.
what hyped you up?
I had a CD on. It was one of the Now That's What I Call music. I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, one of
I
the
wish
volumes? Okay.
it was a good song. It was a song. I can't remember the name of it. It's like mostly instrumental, but it's got a brilliant saxophone bit in it.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
love the saxophone. And I turned it up and I was just like, right, yes, I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. I'm ready to go.
You'll have to
So
find that and let me know. So
I
at
will
this
find
moment
that.
right here, I can include a short enough clip so everybody can get in that mind frame, the mode of Mia
Yeah.
to head into the game.
Yeah, I remember I put it full volume because the next day when I went back to get my car, I got in my car and it was still in full
Yes.
volume and I was like, oh my God. I
And
was
then
like,
you
oh,
remembered, yeah, I was jamming out.
yeah,
I was
that's how you knew, because normally I'm quite good and I'll remember to turn it back to it. No, I was like, that's how much in a rush I was. I just basically left the keys in the car and ran to the stadium. But no, it was, yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
so you come out and you see the crowd that's there. So now you can visually say, like, okay, whatever the tickets were, whatever I tried to bring myself down from, that emotional high of thinking that it's crazy. You can see it with your own eyes. Like, this place is packed. Um,
Mm.
were you like taken back by that, or was there a reaction to the visual component of seeing everybody out there?
It was just um it was just like pure emotion, I think, because
Mm,
not only, were a few of the Wrexham men's team there, Phil Parkinson was there. Obviously, we knew Ryan and Rob would be there with their families. But then also basically my whole family was there, and a lot of like family friends and stuff as well. And that in itself, like my nana had never come to watch me at a game before because it's very rare. I've played a game where there's been seats for people to sit on, and she's 82, she can't stand at a rail for
Mm.
90 minutes, so that in itself for me was like, wow. But yeah, it did suddenly become very real. I think you suddenly go, right, okay, they're all here, and they're all actually here for us. It's not a case of us just doing a lap at a men's game and people clapping. People have come to see us, and that
Yeah.
in itself is sort of quite mind blowing. And yeah, it just suddenly was very real. And I think at that point we didn't know the actual attendance. I think we knew it was about 8,000 because I don't think they updated it right up to the game.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
then I was warming up with Ella Clifton Stringer, and when they announced the attendance, I put it on the screen, and I just remember being stood there, and like it was unbelievable. At sort of Cop End, warming up on that on the Wrexham Lager stand side,
Hmm.
and just sort of looking out, and obviously seeing Wrexham Lager stand there, the Tech End there, Mould Road there, just full. And then looking on the pitch and seeing my mate Lily Jones on the ball, and it was just this sort of wow, we've done something special, yeah. And that, yeah, it was honestly, I get goosebumps now talking about it because it is like how many people can say they've experienced something like that, and if I ever experience anything like that again, then I've done something right because yeah, it was. I know I keep saying it, but it was just unbelievable.
Oh man, that is amazing. Wow. I couldn't even imagine having like close to 10,000 people
Mm.
out there. And were you guys looking like at your fellow players? Would you like make eye contact and be like, yeah, like this is
To be honest, like not really. Like I think we probably thought we would, but it is that case of the second you step on that pitch, it's still there. All this unbelievable thing that is, playing in front of almost 10,000, but it's also then just you're playing a game like you were last Sunday in Rill in front
mm,
of
hmm
300 or how many there were, maybe a bit less. I think 200 maybe. And not that you block it out because you can't block it out. It's there, right? And we're not all experienced enough to just go right. No, I can't hear it. But you do really just immerse yourself in the game, and it's immediately back to right. We need to win. It's not I'm going to try and impress because I'm at the racecourse or whatever. It was none of that. It was Connor's key as well, so it was unbelievably competitive in itself the game, and there was quite a bit of tension between us and them, and they were desperate to sort of ruin the party, if you like, and we
hmm
were
hmm
desperate to sort of start the party, if you like, and really sort of finish in style, and yeah, thankfully we did, and yeah.
When you came on the pitch, because you came in as a substitute,
Yeah.
when it's like, hey, are you warm up?
Yeah.
Well, like, did it rush upon you, or what? It's like go warm up. Were you like, oh, here we go, here we go?
Well, um, yeah, I was a bit unsure really because I came into the game quite confident I'd start, and I've said that to quite a few people, and
Mm,
because I'd started, I think, a few weeks prior for consecutively, so I came into the game quite confident. I was starting not in an arrogant way, just because I had been previous
yeah,
games.
that's what's been happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was quite thinking about that, and then that was one of the things that I remember. I thought in the changing room I dealt with quite well, not to blow my own trumpet or anything, but when he said the team, and I was obviously on the bench, I suddenly had this sort of like this sort of dagger to the heart, if you like, because I suddenly thought I've got so many people coming to watch me, and I might not even play.
Mm,
But then I quickly went, no, come on, this is still. It doesn't matter if you get on for 2 minutes or don't get on at all. You're still a part of this. You're still going to have absolute best day. So quickly snapped out of that silly sort of mood, and yeah, thankfully I did, because then it was straight back into what you should be as a sub, which is it doesn't matter when you come on, who you come on for. Your job is to come on, make a difference, and sort of spark something. And yeah, I think we obviously warmed up quite a few times on the side and just sort of waiting for an opportunity. And yeah, we were warming up on the side, and I think Dave shouted over for me to come. So sprinted down, probably faster than I ever have. Probably almost pulled every muscle in my leg because I wasn't warming up properly. And then yeah, basically just got to. I think I came on about 70th minute, maybe a bit before. So was really happy, obviously, because I was getting quite a big chunk of the game. But it was 1-1. I remember Dave saying to me, get them going, Robbo. Like, you need to pick it up because we've sort of lost a bit of confidence. I think was probably the word, because it just got a bit flat, and which would only have benefited Connor's Key, which obviously we didn't want. So yeah, he just said, get them going. You need to come on, bring some energy. So I sort of took those words and ran with them, and yeah, I was immediately in the zone, ready to go, and yeah, took my opportunity.
When you were getting onto the pitch, so you get subbed on, you're called, you're waiting to go. How long of a time suck, or like pausing in actual time, relative time, that you feel as you're standing like on that sideline and waiting to come in as the person's jogging off? Is it where like, was it a dog in a cage or something? Just like
it was like, it did feel like I was stood there for ages, because I think I got called over, and then I don't know whether if we conceded a corner or something. So when people don't like to change it at a set piece, because I think I was stood waiting quite a while, and then when the ball finally went out of play, I think I was coming on for Katie Sharp, and she's come to walk over to my side to come off, and the ref, but she was on the left-hand side, on the opposite side. So the ref then told her, no, you walk off on your side and you'll have to walk all the way around, to obviously stop time wasting, which actually took longer, because she got confused, carried on running towards me, and then he went, no, go off the other. So I was basically stood there like, Sharpie, just get off, I don't want to get on. But then yeah, as soon as literally I was watching her, as soon as I could sort of see she'd hit that line, I was like, right, I'm on. And yeah, I could hear like my sister, who was sat in the tech end behind the goal, cheer, which was like, that shows you how loud she is, because yeah, like so yeah.
And you knew the voice. Did you look over, or?
I didn't look over, no, because I thought
you're
if
just
I
like, I got a mission.
Yeah, I'll probably fall over and embarrass myself in front of 9,500 people. But yeah, and then it was literally a case of, right, let's go, and yeah, thankfully I think got them going a bit, and yeah, we went on to do all right.
Was there a moment when you were on the pitch, either like while the game was being played still, or after the game was over, that you like made eye contact with anybody in the stands, or looked at people in the stands and like took a moment to soak it in?
I probably not in the game. I remember in the game, I think I got fouled, and I like she slid into me, and I've gone flying, like almost face planted the turf, and then sort of normally I'd probably not stay down for ages, but make a bit of a waste a bit of time. So I think we might have been winning at that point. But because I was like just so full of all this energy, I just quickly got straight back up, and I think a few people were quite surprised in the crowd, because I took a bit of a smashing, to be fair. And then I've sort of felt that energy, and I was just like, yes, come on. And that's not really me, to be fair. I'm not a massively overconfident person. I wouldn't normally be sort of gearing up the crowd or anything, but that just inner thing takes over you, right? And yeah, but then it was more at the end of the game, when we were like doing the lap of honor, and you just lock eyes with so many people, and it's like, I mean, I've never felt emotion like it. I think the only time I could link it to is probably the men's game at the racecourse, where we won promotion. I forget who was it against.
Boreham.
Boreham Woods, that was it.
Yeah.
And we were sat in the director's box, actually, so we didn't go on the pitch at the end.
Oh.
You just literally, it was like slow motion. You were just looking around and locking eyes with people, and all ages, all different genders, and every sort of person, and everyone had that same emotion just pouring out of them. And it was, it does at that point in time, it didn't matter what anyone's views were on anything. It was just everyone is so happy to be here in this moment, just existing and sort of, yeah, just it was, and that's the only thing I could link it to, really. The only time I've ever felt like that. But again, it was, in particular, obviously, when you see your family and it's like, oh my God, that you're here, we're here. Like, how lucky are we to be in this moment? And yeah, it was like one of the best moments of my life, easily, like easily. So I'm beyond lucky, and yeah, and then to then lock eyes with Ryan and Rob is just another thing altogether, isn't it? Really, when they came down.
And how
yeah.
excited they were too, and yeah. But were you able to keep the tears in? Were you?
No, no. To be fair, I did better than I thought I would. I'm quite an emotional person, and I literally put anything on TV. I'll put Mamma Mia on. Now I'll start crying again, sort of thing. But no, yeah, I did better than I thought I was going to, and then it was when I saw my mum. And I just broke down, I was just like a mess. Then it was one of those things. I was crying, and then I turned around, and there was a documentary camera. I was like, oh "My God, Mia, pull yourself together." Okay.
Yeah.
So then, no, it's when I was all right then. But no, it was nice as well. You've got to let out your emotions. They're not meant to be kept in, are they? They're meant to be let out, I think. So I'm glad I did. I'm not thinking about it at all. But yeah, it was just beautiful, honestly. Like the whole day, there were so many different parts of it. It wasn't just the game. There were so many parts before, and after, and into the night. It was like one of the things not many people know before the game. Phil Parkinson came in the changing room and spoke to us.
Oh,
not many people know that.
Okay.
And that was, it was like, so many of the girls in that changing room are diehard Wrexham fans. And I think we were just sort of looking at each other like, Phil Parkinson's given us pre-match, not with his usual enthusiasm. But
yes.
But yeah, and that was a a lovely touch, I think, and it just shows the sort of character of people at the club. And yeah, that's just one of the things, and then a few hours later you stood on a trophy podium and passing a bottle of champagne to Rob McElhenney is really, really bizarre. Not something I ever thought I'd say. So yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, it's like in everyday life, if someone is drinking out of a glass and they hand it there, most people aren't just going to drink out of that same glass, but on that championship, everyone's like, hand me that bottle. You take it. Let me get some. You take some. And it was like, you could tell that the emotion was so surreal. And at my house, me and my wife were in tears. Like we were crying, and we were like just tears of joy. And we're like, this is so awesome. It's so great, because you could tell how much it meant to all of you, everybody that was in the stands. And for us, there's a group of the like hashtag Ask Wrexham crowd who is largely American. There's some Australians in there too. But pretty much all of us have been like, when are we going to see the women's games? When are they going to like let us stream it? When can we just listen to it? And that was like a thing that was going on. And then so there was a talk amongst us too. And people were sharing I got tears of joy, and I'm like, I've got tears of joy. And it's like, this is so amazing, because that thing that was said earlier about, happiness being so beautiful that even when it's not your own, it still feels good. And
absolutely.
To see all of you happy and to get a thing that you absolutely deserved, and to get the recognition that you deserved, to get the heartfelt warmness of joy that you guys deserved, to hear the crowd, to feel the crowd, and to have those moments, and obviously have Rob and Ryan out there championing you and lifting the trophy. It was like, it was something where I can't say that I cry all the time. let me just say, like, I'm not. I didn't cry when I watched Mamma Mia, so
Oh.
so I'm not at that level. But then again, I never watched Mamma Mia, so so that might be the problem. But no, I'm the person
Probably.
that all Disney and Pixar movies, I'm like shedding tears in. But it was so powerful, that moment, and it felt like such a pivotal moment of change. Of
Mm,
when you said before, like, well, I understand the women's team didn't get things because of the financial aspect to it, where it doesn't have the same draw. I think that's where, like, either the American in me or just whatever it is, that why not? It's like, well,
yeah,
you don't know that it can't get the draw because nobody's tried to do it. And
yeah,
you can't just accept that it's not there, that the passion's not there, the support is not there. Because when you guys got put onto that platform, everyone showed up. Like, everybody
yeah,
turned out, and you had people across the world tuning in to watch you. Your little hometown, that's on the other side of the world. And it's just such a thing that it seemed like a powerful moment that, like, this is key going forward. That this changes stuff. Like, right
mm,
there is undeniable. The emotion, the support, the interaction, the attachment, like the drug that is the Wrexham men's team, that you need a fix of. And like, if you go too long throughout the summer and you can't watch any matches and you're not getting team updates or things, you start to get that, drug itch where you're like, I just want a
yeah,
hit. Let me get a hit, please. And now the women's team has become another drug,
yeah,
and they, like, hey, whoever's behind Wrexham and the production and broadcast team, you guys screwed up because you showed us what it was like. So you can't giveth and then taketh away. Like, you showed us the mountaintop, and we want to go again. We don't we know what that's like. It's almost like if you weren't going to broadcast games the next season, which now they are, and such good news. But when the season started and it's like, wait, they're not getting broadcast. You're like, no, we know you can do it. We know it exists.
yeah,
like I almost would rather not have known what it felt like than to have it and then take it away. It's like, what's
yeah.
better, to never have loved or to love and lost? It's like, which one is a better reality? So wrapping up the end of the game and the celebration, the game's over. You go back into the changing room immediately, or do you go
No,
into the stands,
well,
or?
no, I thought we'd go back into the changing room because I think I'd left, or I drank all my water and I was gasping for a
Mm,
drink because I was like I only played 20 minutes, but when that final whistle blew, I remember just falling to the ground because I was so exhausted. And I do think it was that sort of suddenly just all that energy just goes, and it's
mm.
like not just that energy from that day, but from the build up of of it all happening. So I was so thirsty. I was like, I need a drink. Um, that sounds like I want a drink of alcohol. I do mean water. um, and then so I was like, oh, I need to go get a drink. Um, so I went to run back in the change room quick, literally just grab my bottle of water, and basically got dragged back out by someone, and they were like, they're doing the trophy now, they're doing the trophy. And I was like, bloody hell, that was quick. Like, and then I turned around, they were already putting the podium stuff out, and then and it was basically because I'd played for the 19s as well that season, and the 19s won the league as well. They were doing a bit of a trophy lift for the 19s, and then they were going to do the first team. So most of the first team went back into the change rooms, but because I was part of the 19s and a few of the others were, we basically got pulled out, and they were like, "No, you need to be out there. You need to be out there." Which obviously was fine. I was quite happy to celebrate, with another trophy and medal. So yeah, did that, and then just stood there, basically just sort of looking around, taking it all in. Then obviously Rob and Ryan came down. And I remember I think I was just stood there sort of acknowledging things, and then Humphrey walked past me, and I gave him a hug and was like, thank you. And then I didn't even realize Rob was behind him. Obviously, when someone stands behind Humphrey, you don't see them. So I didn't even notice him. And then it's actually captured on camera, but Rob gives me, honest to God, he picks me up and gives me the biggest bear hug I've ever had in my life. And it's literally it's like, there's a video of it because I was like, I hope that's been captured somewhere because that's like honestly the best hug I've ever had ever. And there's footage and it's on the 19s girls, and I'm just in the back, like it's quite blurry, but you can make it out, and you just see me get sort of just picked up by someone. So saw all them guys, and then basically went to collect our medals, obviously lifted the trophy, and then ended up doing a full walk around of the stadium, and that was unbelievable. That was just signing stuff, getting photos with everyone, just people saying, how you've inspired people, and that in itself is like, wow, for someone to say that to you, it's quite like, really, like how have I done that just through playing football? But that's why it's so important. So I think we actually stayed out for about another hour or maybe close to two, just trying to get round everyone because we wanted to make sure we didn't miss everyone. And then got back round to by the tunnel, and obviously saw like family quick and stuff like that. Had a few photos, and then got back into the change room, and like music was on, and there was a bit of energy for a few minutes, and then it sort of just like not died, but everyone I think was just exhausted and just couldn't believe what just happened. I think it was a bit of that. So like got changed, and then I think we went to get some food quick, and then I think a few of them went out. I ended up going. I just went for a meal with my dad and my sister, which was really nice because I was just so exhausted I couldn't function. I think a few weeks before when we won the league at Rill, we ended up in the turf after that, and that was quite a messy night in the end. One of the best nights ever because we just stayed in the turf, just chatting and drinking and celebrating us winning the league. But I'd sort of said, right, I'm not gonna go mad tonight. I just want to go see my family, and went for a meal with my dad and my sister, and weirdly sat on the table across from us was all the Disney documentary crew having their Sunday roast. So that was quite nice to see all them. And then went home and had a night in with my mum, and basically just scrolled through Twitter trying to get every little bit of content I could get. It was an unbelievable day. I just remember sitting in bed, and that night I was sat in bed, and Ryan actually followed me on Twitter, and I was just like, my God, what? I can go to sleep. I can go to sleep.
Nice.
That was that day, really.
That is so cool. And I expect that you did the same thing that the boys team did after the championship. You went to a fine establishment to go eat, something like McDonald's. You did. What was your post meal?
After that game.
Yeah.
Where did we go? We went to the Pantarocken where Lily Jones actually works.
Okay.
Plates there, so that's where we went. So it was very civilized, just me, my dad, and my sister, and I think if I remember correct, I was obviously still in not my kit, obviously, but my like polo and tracksuit bottoms, and the waitress actually said, "Oh my God, have you just played at the racecourse?" I was like, "Yeah, I have actually," and she gave us free flapjacks for dessert. So that was a nice bonus.
Like, have you just played? Yes, I have.
Yeah, can you tell by how I smell sweat and champagne?
When you were making your laps, did you see any young girls that you got to interact with, or like where you're seeing that if I can just inspire more? I mean, like your cup had to runneth full and runneth over with making those laps, and then seeing like if I just inspire, you're like, oh, I can't even count anymore.
Literally, it was that, and it's crazy to say because I'm just someone who casually kicks the ball around. I don't get paid whatever big bucks a week that your Leah Williamsons and Alex Morgans do, and how many people they inspire is crazy. But yeah, it was super like inspiring, for me and for them, I guess, because for me it was like, okay, this makes me want to do it again. Obviously I would anyway, but just more, and yeah, there was honestly the amount of young ladies there that in football shirts and whose eyes sort of lit up, and you could see that they've suddenly just clicked in their head, oh my God, I could do this, this is an actual possibility. It's not just, this isn't just a game my brother and my dad can play. I can do that. And as well as that, I'd say there was young boys as well who equally looked at us and went, my God, can I have a photo? Can I have an autograph? And for me, that's just as important, because I think that's half the battle, right? Once these young lads and men, I think probably more men, because when I played in boys leagues, it was very rare I had any back chat or sort of hate from any of the lads I was with. It was always the parents on the side, sadly.
Really?
Yeah, and that's how it always was. And that's why I think for me, the second women's football is seen as not only normal and respected by females and women, as as soon as it's respected and seen as normal by men and boys, look at your Leah Williamsons, your Alex Morgans, and go, they're unbelievable. She's one of the best footballers in the world, and all that. That's when it. That's when we've really, really hit the jackpot with it, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. Us from across the seas will do our part in trying to still be loud vocal voices to support the women's team. It'll be, as you guys are exporting so much good stuff to us that we get to be a part of and to witness all of the ups and downs and all the trials and tribulations. So we are taking, we are getting every day. We're taking. Maybe if there's one thing we can give back is like the amount of support that we can have for both teams and for the women's team. And like I said before, for most of us that watch football in the US, the women's team to us isn't controversial. It's like supporting the women's team, and to think of a women's player as being a good player and not just like, oh, she's a good women's player. It's like, no, she's a good player. Like, that's normal for us. And so hopefully, if anything, we can bring some of that normalcy and validity to, hey, it's perfectly fine to you're no less of a man if you have great admiration for a women's player. Like, that's completely normal and completely fine to do.
I think that's what it's always been for me. I've always sort of had the opinion that, listen, if you don't want to watch women's football, you don't have to watch women's football. That is absolutely fine. There's a quite a good quote that Leah Williamson said in an interview not long ago, which was, I'm not particularly a big fan of, I think she used badminton as the reference.
Okay.
But I'm not a particularly big fan of badminton. I don't go on Twitter every day and say how much I hate badminton. I just don't watch it. That's, for me, that's perfect. For me, it is just show us the respect, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to come to every game. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to do whatever. Just show the respect, and that's all that's necessary, I think.
What advice would you give to like the young girls, the young boys that are coming up and starting to get involved into football and taking those steps? What guidance would you give to them?
I'd say number one, it's always, play because you love it. Don't play because it's cool. Don't play because your dad wants you to play, your mum wants you to, do it because you love it. Play it because every time you touch that ball, you're like, something is in you, that just wants to go and score, that wants to make that tackle, that wants to make that save or whatever, You do it with a smile on your face. You've got to enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, then it's a chore. It's not, football's fun. It's for fun at the end of the day. I know obviously now there's a lot of sort of business implications in football nowadays, and financial implications, and et cetera, but especially at a young age, you've got to just go out and play with a smile on your face and just really enjoy it. If you can, I'd always recommend try and get in a team with some of your close friends or family or whoever, because that's how I got into it, and it just makes it a lot easier. And even if you're going into a team where you don't know anyone, it's unbelievable how quick you get to know people through football. It really is. And even if you're from different backgrounds, from different walks of life, you immediately, as soon as you're on that pitch, you have this sort of green link that is football. You're now on this same team. You're now reliant on one another to get success. And I think that's quite unique. It's obviously a sport thing, but where else in life are you suddenly connected to someone through that sort of manner? But yeah, I number one is always just do it because you love it, do it because you enjoy it, and yeah, work. Listen, if you want something, you're gonna have to work hard for it. Nothing gets given to you on a plate. Like I say, I'm very lucky to have people. I know people at the club, and obviously through my dad, but that didn't mean I just got offered a place in the squad. It wasn't that at all, sadly. It was, you've got to work hard, and like I say, if you want it, you'll do it. I'm quite a strong believer in that. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. You'll have your bad days, but the rewards make it all worth it. I can absolutely guarantee you that. It's truly nothing like it. Oh dear, fire alarm.
No way, seriously. Oh,
yeah,
geez.
I think it's the test, so it's fine. It's Sunday, so it should be the test. It should go off in a minute.
Mia, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thanks for asking me. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. Thank you for sharing everything that you shared and giving us such good nuggets and moments of your life. And thank you for teaching me and us how to Wrexham the Mia Roberts way, the Robbo Jr. way.
Yeah.
Anytime that you want to talk, and anytime that you have time, you are welcome to come and discuss and talk at any point in time. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I believe the people that have watched this will understand the blessing they just got to hear you and to hear your stories. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend off of this wonderful back-to-back wins. And I'll say the same thing that I always say: up the town.
Up the town.
All right, Mia, you take care.